Welcome to iOS Insights. This NBA quiz is designed to test your knowledge of basketball players. Get ready to challenge your basketball expertise with this challenging and engaging quiz app. As you can see, the quiz is simple to use. All you have to do is just answer a simple question. Is this current or past basketball player? And just select or tap on yes or no. And then after that, it selects another player and you just have to select yes or no. If it's a past or current basketball player, click on yes. And then for this one, just click on no. And then yes. And then yes. And then yes. And then click on no. And then at the end of the quiz, it displays a list of results to show the correct answers that you selected. And then it also shows a percentage of the scores that were correct. So this time we got 100% correct and 0 incorrect. And to play again, just click on the play again button. And then it takes you back to the first step that we showed earlier. And you can also update this quiz to add your own questions. And you can also update it so that the quiz comes from an actual API. So this is what we'll be creating using Swift and Swift UI. Within your Swift UI project, enter into the content view and then on line 12, enter the following. At state, private var current question index equals 0. At state, private var show result equals false. At state, private var show score equals false. At state, private var score equals 0. And then now create a new class called Player Manager. So to do this, just click on File, New, and then File. Select Swift File, click on Next, and then enter the name of the class, which is called Player Manager. And then click on Create. And then now, within the new created class, type the following, which is struct then player manager colon observable object open bracket, then close bracket. And then above this class, also import Swift UI. Type in import Swift UI. And then create a strut, which is called player, strut, player. And then select identifiable. The purpose of inheriting identifiable for the players class is to enable the actual player to be looped within the GUI. So we can loop through each of the elements within the GUI if we inherit identifiable for the player class. Now enter the attributes of the player class, which is let id equals UUID. So this just creates a random ID for each player. Let name equals string, the name of the player. Let image string. Let is a basketball player. This is a boolean. It just indicates if the player is a basketball player or not. Then var is answer correct. Is answered correctly. False. And then now within the player managers class, type in the following. At publish var players and player. So the purpose of marking the players property as at publish, it will notify the GUI, which is the content view, of any changes within the array, just in case there is any or not. So it will submit the updated changes to the GUI. So now we just type in, this should be a square close bracket on line 22. This one here should be square, and then the one below it should be a closing square bracket. So now we just type in player, open bracket, name, and then for the name we just type in LeBron James, as he's a basketball player. And then for the image, just type in LeBron James name again, but just put the actual name all together, and that will represent the actual image. But we'll be adding images to the assets folder, which is here, later. And then is basketball player true? I'll just delete this part, it's incorrect. Is basketball player is true? It seems like that's correct. Let me compile it just to make sure. Class manager, Just compile it. Cannot find comma. There's an error somewhere. Where is that? I'm just fixing this error at the moment. So I'll type this in again. So let me select it from there instead. And then delete that one. Then put the values into this one. So just enter LeBron James, enter it again, and then for the image, just enter LeBron James is a basketball player, and true. Let's see if this compiles. If this compiles, we just copy and paste the rest. So why doesn't that work? Struct, observable, objects, at published, var, colon players. Yeah, that looks like it's correct. Oh, I know what the problem is. This should be a class and not a struct. So that's the error. So let's try it again to see if it builds. Yeah, so it built. So now that it's built, we can just duplicate what we've done but change the names and the images for different players. So just put a comma here at the end of line 23 and then just copy and paste it. Yeah, paste it about 7 times, I think. So it's at 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then on line 24, we enter the name Kobe and then for the image, just set this as the image. So just copy the name and then just paste it as the name as the image. And then another name, just enter Brad Pitt, and then just type in Brad Pitt here for the image. Brad Pitt, basketball player, this is false, so he's not a basketball player, he's an actor. And then for the next one, for the next basketball player, just enter Tom Brady, and then for the image, just type in Tom Brady. Basketball player is true. And then for the next basketball player, type in Stephen Curry. And for the image name, just type in Stephen Curry is a basketball player, which is true. And then for the next basketball player, just type in Michael Jordan. And then for the image, just type in Michael Jordan. And then 40 is a basketball player. Yeah, leave it as true. And then finally for the next person, just type in Tom Hanks. He's not a basketball player, he's an actor. For the image, just type in Tom Hanks. And then for the is basketball player, just assign this to false. Just make the actual code a little bit neater. So what we've done here, we have created an array, an object array, where we're passing in the actual values to the player's constructor, which is there. So we're passing in true to the is basketball player attribute, and we're passing in the image name to the image attribute, and the player's name to the player's attribute of the player within the constructor. So we're just like assigning the elements to this player's construct, which is here, to the struct. But really, in a real live or proper professional example, this information should be coming from an API, like a JSON payload. But for this example, it's just like being populated using an array of objects. So now we have all of the data populated within the array. We'll go on to the next phase of the application process. Back in the content view, on line 16, enter the following: at state object private var players equals player manager. What this line does, it creates an instance of the player manager as a state object. So now we have the actual values from the player manager that we can use. And then on line 19, delete everything between lines 20 to lines 25. And then now what we'll do is create an empty view. And then now type in a closing bracket. And then what we'll do now is create the NBA title view. So to do this, what we'll do is create another struct. So click on File, New, and File. Select SwiftUI file. Click on Next. And for the NBA title view, just type in NBA title view, and then click on Create. Import SwiftUI. And then create the actual struct, which is struct NBA title view var body sum view vstack text open bracket, then type in NBA, font system size 60, and then the weight is dot bold, design is dot default, foreground color is dot white, padding is dot 20 top. So what this does is that it displays the NBA text with a large bold font and a white color, and this NBA title will be positioned 20 pixels from the top. And then next, what we'll do is create our subtitle, which is text open bracket basketball, and we can copy what we've done here and change a few things around. So copy the lines between 15 and 17 just to save a bit of time, and then for the size, make the size 30. For the weight, keep it as bold, and the design is default. The foreground color is white, and the padding is 20 but to the bottom. And then next, type in frame, width 300, height 150, and then next type in dot background, linear gradient, and then type in gradient open bracket colors, and then open square bracket color dot red, comma color dot blue. And then for the start point, just type dot leading, for the end point, just type or select dot trailing, and then is there a mistake here? Colors. Oh, we missed out the colon, so just enter the colon there. And then now the next thing we do, we just type in dot corner radius 20, dot shadow black, then the radius, which is, yeah, this is incorrect, so it's open bracket color, so it's dot black for the color, and the radius is 5, comma, x 0, x is 0, and then y is 5. So lines 27 to 30, what that does, it applies a linear gradient background with red and blue colours so that it represents the NBA colour scheme, and then it applies a corner radius of 20 to give the view around the corners, and then it applies a drop shadow effect with a black colour, which is here. So we'll just compile it to make sure that everything is correct, or that it compiles anyway, because it can compile but it's not correct. And then we click within the content view, so go back to the content view, and then within the content view delete lines 20, the empty view, just delete that. Now type in NBA title view. So this is the actual view that we'll be using as a title. So now if you run the actual application, we should see the new title that we just created, which is the NBA title view. So we'll just run it now. So is it running? Because my Mac is a bit slow. Yeah, so at the moment it's in the middle, but we want it to be placed at the top. So what we need to do is create a spacer. So on line 21, just enter spacer. That should be capital S. Now this will be positioned at the top. As you can see, it's now positioned at the top. On line 22, just type in this comment to do, or line 23 is up to you, 22 or 23. Just type in to do question view goes here. So the question view functionality and some of the result view functionality will be starting next week. We have reached the end of the tutorial. Remember, you can download all source code from iOS Insights. Please comment, like and subscribe to keep up to date and receive notifications. See you next week.